Can't lean too far back.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Shakti Report. I'm super excited to have a special kind of broadcast going on today, and I have the founder of Connectivid, Christina Lascar, here with me.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for being here, Christina. I'm super excited to talk a little bit about the new social media options as well as why we're all looking in those directions and details on these because I guess we could kind of get in a situation where we're jumping out of the frying pan into the fire, and I feel like that's a lot what's gone on in our society in the last 20 years. Just energetically, we get scared by these big crazy things that happen and then or that we realize, and then we like quickly kind of curtail over in one direction, and then we find out, oh my gosh, now that's doing that. So one of the reasons we wanted to kind of take the time to dig into who owns it and who's on it and who's promoting it and all these types of things. And really, I'll let Christina talk about this project that we undertook a little bit in a second here. But really, I feel like my main mission was looking at who's allowing the freedom of speech on both sides, who is actually, if they do have rules, are they applying them the same across the board? And yeah, so that's kind of where I was coming from when we both agreed to take on this project. And I'll let Christina tell you a little bit about what she's been interested in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been, a research project both for all of the things that you just said, but also because of Connectivid and really wanting to see what people care about and see, where Connectivid stands in relation to all of these companies as well, and how and if, maybe we can find some way of collaborating, because to me, it's really about privacy. And so with all of these, what I kept coming up against with all of these different companies is like, we all care about the same things. And we all want the same thing. We want privacy. We want ownership of every user's own material. We don't, but we want the users to have their own ownership. And it's really important. And I don't know how we're going to all, or how one of us or all of us or whatever the case may be, is going to figure out a way to be able to be in the place of one of the big mainstream ones. But we need to figure it out, because surveillance and honestly, like I saw somewhere, I think it was MeWe's founder, I think I have a quote up here actually. MeWe's founder is like, we have Facebook has, here it is. So an unprecedented 99% of Americans are concerned about their privacy today. If you look at the amount of data that Facebook has on its active users, it's more than the CIA has on you, said Weinstein with MeWe, one of the founders.
Yeah, and before we dive too much into these platforms, let's just talk about Connectivid. Christina Lascar and I became acquainted years ago when she was first starting the platform. And then we kind of reconnected this past spring due to the fact that we were both very disturbed over Facebook's continuously even more strict rules about what was allowed to be said and what was true, and things flagged for being not true that maybe today somebody from the DNC has proven true. I don't know, but but the point being that those of us who realize the purpose of the free press and free speech realize that that actually is a tool of democracy, and in order to have a healthy democracy, we have to protect that, because otherwise there is no voice of dissent. Otherwise, it is as easy as the click of a button to say what's false and what's true. It's no less true that the DNC hacked the election now than it was a year ago. But a year ago, my page, Shakti Journal, got blocked for telling the truth because somebody else decided that wasn't the truth. So Christina, if you could just speak a little bit to what Connectivid is, how it's serving the people, and just that general, it's a social media platform, but it's more. So just tell us a little bit about that first.
Yeah, so that is, I mean, that's actually what I was just writing down, so I made sure I said, Connectivid is a social media channel, but it's also in support of vetted nonprofits, and there's a lot of other things that you can do on there as well. But we have all these situations happening, but we don't have accountability happening on the governmental level, on the corporate level, and so and as much as it frustrates me that we have to have all these nonprofits that are doing what the government should be doing. Whatever the case, it is what it is right now. So we should be utilizing the nonprofits that are really doing great work out there in the world to be able to start holding the government and the corporate world, which pretty much is the government, accountable to their actions. Like you said, the DNC is no less guilty today than it was when it actually happened. So why is there nobody that's being held accountable for that? Why is there nobody that's actually going to jail for these crimes? Mm-hmm. And I might get a little worked up.
It's okay. We're allowed to on the Shakti report. It's all in the name of peace on earth and the divine feminine force, which can sometimes be a little so yeah, that's awesome. And what kind of policies do you look to implement on Connectivid to ensure that freedom of speech and things like that?
Yes. So as long as people are not, like name calling or bullying or anything like that, they're just speaking their opinions. They're just, and hopefully other people are listening, because, we have a lot of issues going on with the right and the left, and there is no right or left, and there's only issues at this point. And so how can we, come together and unite as a people, as the masses, as the 99%? I mean, that's a lot more than the 1%. We can do this. I really fully believe that we can. And awesome. But it's all about uniting, and it's about letting go of our differences and our, say the abortion thing is a huge thing for the people on the right. So being like, okay, I don't want to get an abortion, but I'm not going to say that they can't. Mm-hmm. That's their choice versus my choice. And I'm going to live in alignment with what I want to do. Yeah. And what other people are doing, that's their choice. I mean, that's like...
And we should be able to have these conversations too, because when I've had these conversations with some people that are against abortion, I find out that their biggest qualm is how late we're allowing abortions, which I didn't know we allowed them that late. It's kind of crazy. It's like 6 months or something really weird. Wow. Yeah, I know. I thought it was like 3 months.
3.
Yeah, yeah. So with those kind of qualms, and that's probably a state thing. That person lived in, I think, Colorado. Anyhow. The point is, we should have these conversations, and we need platforms that let us have these conversations. So that's awesome. Let's move on to see what some of our options are, kind of examine what they can do for us, what they're lacking.
Can I start out with one quote real quick?
Yeah.
So this one is from Edward Snowden. It says, "Arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say."
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
It is.
And when you look into laws of the many states that we have, there's some laws that it doesn't matter where you bought the lobster. You could have bought the lobster in the store, but if it's not a certain length, it's illegal to have. So whether you bought it, legally, mm-hmm. You could be thrown in jail for it in some state. I forget which one, but wow. That's crazy. How are we to keep track of all of these laws? So we all have something to hide, probably.
Yeah. Right, because law is interpretational, and the point is, if they want to, do a smear campaign on you, they can. So let's get into some of this, since all our information is right out there. All our vulnerable breakdowns there on Facebook for everyone to witness. So I am going to switch us over here, and I'm going to share a couple of things, and I'm going to ask you hold on one second. I'm going to ask you, Christina, to just keep me on course and ask me any questions from our outline that I may miss. So I've been on Livestream for a while as part of the beginning of a boycott of Facebook. So from what I've experienced, well, first of all, it's not free and it's not that cheap. It's a couple, I think $400 for a year. Um, and the thing I do like about it is that it doesn't have cookies, so it doesn't share your information, and it also has an actual downloadable program that you use, which you can link with your, iPhone or Android. I think might do it too. Also, you can link it with GoPro. So I feel like the platform is really good for people who are on the move and do live streaming and perhaps want more professional gear. Like this is like a fully legit platform to really like develop your videos and make them very high tech and professional. As far as what I learned about a live stream, first of all, it's not really easy to go around and find people. So if I want to go discover, other pages, you can pick all these tabs, which seems like a great idea. But I find here, I know it's funny, just as I'm saying this, I'm having a bit of an aha moment. But everything I find here really is uh, like it's got a lot of money behind it. They're like big companies on here. Tesla, the Clinton Foundation, um, and as far as I don't know how I feel about Tesla. I love Nikola Tesla, but Tesla, the company, I don't know how great they are, honestly. As I've looked into the Tesla car and everything, it's really not what it could be, and it's not actually the Tesla coil at all. It's kind of a piece of the Tesla technology, and I don't know, it's kind of like uh, not the most eco-friendly to produce. So I don't feel like that technology is necessarily the answer, but I do feel like Tesla as a corporation is really pushing artificial intelligence. It's really pushing robots. It's really pushing a lot of stuff basically that has to do with globalization and war machine, I think, ultimately. Um, there's a lot of universities on here, so if you do want to like see what's being spoken about at different big universities, you can go check that out. Those are the best talks I find usually. Oh, there's Hillary. Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine deliver concession speeches. Oh, from 12 months ago. So yeah, like that's kind of weird that that's from 12 months ago and that's right on popular videos. Her concession speech is popular on here. It's strange. So
So can I
popular.
ask you a question about Livestream?
Yeah.
So with Livestream, do you have to pay just to have an account on there? Do you have
No,
to
no.
pay?
You can have an account and you can follow people and you can watch videos. You have to pay if you're going to stream.
You have to pay if you're going to stream. What about, do you have to, I'm assuming you have to pay if you're going to put your videos on there.
Yeah, that's streaming.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's just live streaming. And the nice thing is, so you don't upload videos. I think you can if you do the professional level package, but the nice thing is they also download immediately when you live stream. And they hashtag, and because live stream is, a website that, pays Google to be prevalent. Essentially, if you set up something on live stream, I would say that your viewership is going to be really good because live stream and Google go together like birds of a feather because of their investors and all of that kind of thing. So,
Without going into opinions there.
yeah, I think that pretty much says it all without having to be mean. So, but I will say that functionality wise, I do like it. I will say that I will probably be leaving after my year's up just because I feel like I found out about so many other great alternatives through this lovely research thing. And when I signed up for this, I was searching for these things. I was trying to find them. So that's one reason we're doing this video, is because I know we're not the only ones out there like, okay, I don't want to be giving my time and energy and heart and thoughts and thoughts to this platform that is like openly just saying I own everything that you post. So with that in mind, I did want to touch on this. I thought it was interesting when I went to Wikipedia and learned about Livestream. It originally was called Mogulus. All right. And the thing that I felt was funny was that when I went to when I went to see what Periscope was, or I'm sorry, what's it called?
Mine? The one I'll be sharing about?
Okay, so let me just read it. In March 2015, Twitter launched a live streaming app called Periscope. YouTube was purchased by Google in 2006, and the pair subsequently announced their live streaming app. And then it says, like Periscope, users can comment on the broadcast. Okay, so the reason I think this is interesting is because they compare it to Periscope, but Periscope came out in like 2014 or something really, really recent. This YouTube live streaming supposedly was the first in 2006. However, Mongolus was the original live stream, and it was founded in 2007. So I think it's very fishy, because if you found something in 2007, especially this big, you were probably working on it and detailing it for at least a year or two beforehand. And Google buys YouTube and launches this live stream thing. I think it's highly suspicious. I think that Mogulus / Livestream might have actually been the first inventor of the platform of live streaming, because of just how it's worded. Like they don't want to bring Mogulus, into the ball game with the Google, because they're like back to back. Literally, I bet you this launched December 2006, and then this is like the beginning of 2007. Like, it's just so, I don't know. This is another problem we face with these companies selling our data, that other people go produce our ideas before we can. So I just thought it was worth pointing out that those are really back to back, and that, Google buys YouTube and suddenly launches live streaming platform. So moving on, you can't tag people on this. It's not really very convenient to comment, although do leave comments, because we're going to check in at the end and get back to you. And if you have any other platforms we should check out, let us know. You do own your content on Livestream, and there is no trolling, but there's really not the ability to like really fluidly connect in general. So yeah, that's pretty much what I would say about that platform. And I'll let you take it on to the Bitchute, which is our other video platform.
Okay, just getting my screen up here. Okay. You can see it?
Yes.
Okay. So Bitchute, what I noticed is that it's very similar to YouTube. The search engines are great on here. I posted a video. It was pretty simple. What do you call it? It was a simple procedure. And can you see my little screen, or are you still looking at Bitchute?
I'm looking at BitChute.
Oops, something just happened. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm looking at BitChute.
Okay, perfect.
There's big boobs, feminae formaso.
Yeah. So I want to. I really enjoyed quoting things so that I'm not putting words into anyone's mouth. So one of BitChute's values is, and I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name. The founder is Ray Bahe. Ray Bahi. I'm not sure. Anyway, his one of his values is the idea comes from seeing the increased levels of censorship by the large social media platforms in the last couple of years. Bannings, demonetization, and tweaking algorithms to send certain content into obscurity and wanting to do something about it. Which I definitely stand behind that. I think that's, incredibly important in what's going on and with what's happening with YouTube is, they're demonetizing. And, part of the YouTube monetization process is that, you have to follow all their rules and you put ads on your videos, which, take away. And people, you can also pay for it to not be there. So anyway.
The other thing to note really quick about the YouTube demonetization thing, I think is a really good thing to understand. So what happened there was actually YouTube didn't say that it did do that to some people where it said you're not following our guidelines because we interpreted this part this way, and that's within their rights. However, you could sue them if they're not interpreting everyone that way, and you could prove that. But the thing with the demonetization of YouTube is it was corporate. The advertisers came together and decided that they didn't want that material being monetized. So the thing also to note is in a truly free and open capitalist and free press society, we would have the choice. And not only that, I would pay extra to advertise on some of those channels that got demonetized because they have huge followings. They have great things to say, of course, because, a book worth banning is a book worth reading, clearly. But, yeah, it's just that's something we have to keep in mind that there's a reason why we had a free market, and that is a good thing. That's where competition wins. That's where fascism doesn't get to shut you up. Anyhow, I just wanted people to understand that the advertisers came together on that one and basically said to YouTube, we're going to pull all our ads, the big corporations. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I'll go back to sharing. And so here, I just hit on the categories, and they have lots of different categories. They have this trending section, which is really nice, to show you like the most recent ones. What you giggling about?
I've never seen one of our presidents with duct tape on his mouth.
Well, that's,
This is what our media has come to. We don't use words anymore.
Oh, nope, we just tweet and yeah.
Use pictures.
Yeah. So I didn't, I have only, I did not subscribe. It's interesting, I thought I did. But anyway, so Bitchute.
So what would you say? Is it easy to connect with people of your similar thinking and whatnot, or?
It was when you look through the categories, sort of. I mean, it was and it wasn't. You find a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of. It's I feel like I could have used a few more weeks of really researching these things and trying to connect with more people and all of that because you can search in, well, let's say, the Russian hacking. Oops, I'm not sharing screen. Okay, so the Russian, you can see, yeah. And you're going to come up with all sorts of different things to look through. And so you know what you're going to get, and you got to, watch a lot of these to find it.
Very cool.
So, yes, there's that. But There is one thing that I
Trolls?
love about Bitchute, and definitely something that's super interesting to me is they use this web torrent system, which allows people to share videos directly from their browser, which is a huge thing because um, it's really nice to not have to post up to YouTube or Vimeo to then post to wherever. So that's really big, and you don't have to configure or install anything, and it really means that the users become hosts of the videos that they're watching.
And do they have
So
cookies?
they I, they don't use cookies. I'm pretty positive they don't use cookies to track anything besides what they need to know about their own website. So they're not using it to look up what you're looking at as far as advertisements or what your interests are as far as psychological profiling or any of
Okay.
that. And all of it is it's not personalized, so it's just for their own, which is what I found that most of these do. Like they're only tracking things for their own website development, and yeah, I didn't find anything that was personalized with the ones that I did.
Cool. I did Patreon, which is another kind of similar platform. So on Patreon, let's see if we can find it here. So on Patreon, one of the cool things about this one is that you can actually, just like YouTube, and I'm not sure if this is true for BitChute, probably, but Patreon allows you to make a income, and that was one of the problems with people who left YouTube where, they had made whole incomes off of their YouTube channel and suddenly were demonetized. Like they were seriously didn't, that was their job. So, so that, that's another way that dissent gets silenced is just by things like that. Money, you had $3,000 coming in every month. Now you have nothing. Now you don't have time to voice dissent. So Patreon seems to be a pretty good platform for anyone who is definitely not challenging the status quo. So anyone that is just going with like LGBTQ stuff, they allow Antifa to promote themselves on the website and make money. But unfortunately, on Patreon, if you are a conservative or right of center person on any beliefs, really, like if you have any theories that Snopes or PolitiFact are lying, you will be kicked off of Patreon. So I just wanted to show this because this is nice. It actually shares the letter that Patreon wrote and just gives us a little nice sense of what the war on the freedom of speech is really about when it comes to corporate America.
When ideas cross into action, though, we closer look at what our creators are doing with the funds they earn through Patreon. It appears that you are currently raising funds in order to take part in activities that are likely to cause loss of life. We have therefore decided to remove your page from Patreon and paid out your final balance of $95 to you. We understand that this will come as a disappointment. Please know that we have come to this decision after a long review process and will not consider an appeal. Thank you for your understanding. Raising funds in order to take part in activities that are likely to cause loss of life. That's a pretty freaking incredible claim there, Patreon. That should take some pretty incredible evidence behind it, shouldn't it? But what did you provide as evidence? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely freaking nothing. Now,
So,
I assume that you guys are talking about the Defend
oh,
Europe mission. A mission that, firstly, I am not actually taking part in.
So it was a Defend Europe mission, and it was definitely anti-globalist. It was a very localist mission. She didn't actually go, but she was raising money for it. But it was in no way violent or anything. And, that would maybe not matter if they didn't allow Antifa to voice their opinion and raise their money there. So that's definitely not an even both sides of the scale type of thing in my mind. So I will be canceling my account and not giving them my attention just due to that. But as a platform in general, like if you just want to hear the left side of the fence, and if you just want to post the left side of the fence, this actually could be a great platform. But if you are that person, you never really needed to leave YouTube anyway. So maybe just an additional platform to consider. And as far as cookies and stuff, I'm not really sure. I'm going to ask you guys to go find out about that, because once I kind of saw that it wasn't a platform I would be utilizing, I kind of lost my interest. But there are some good people on here, so who knows, maybe I will change my mind. And I think those are all of our video options that we have so far. And now we'll get into more of the social media channels.
Mine's is kind of it has a lot of features, so it does have a video feature as well.
Nice. Well, let's do that one first.
Okay.
And this one's been around for a few years, I think.
They definitely started, I think it was like 2015, maybe. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, here again, I totally love their, this one did not go small, all of their values and why they started. And Minds was in alpha in 2012. And so they say Minds is nonpartisan. They've always attracted an audience from across the political spectrum, including progressives, libertarians, centrists, and non-political content creators. And so that's always lovely. But features that they include are video, groups, blogs, live messenger, group chat, mobile apps, peer-to-peer payments, which also Bitchute does peer-to-peer as well. I forgot to mention that one. Paid promotion, affiliate programs, paid memberships, digital currency, user rewards, and an ad network. I mean, they have a lot going on there.
And have you used the video platform?
I had not used the video platform yet.
Have you watched any videos on there?
Yeah, I watched them redacted tonight on there.
Is it just like YouTube videos people posted, or are these like live streaming possible videos?
I don't think they have a live streaming option, but
do you want to just like show us the site real quick?
Oh, oops! I thought I was. Okay, so sharing screen. Okay, so here it is. This is on my my feed. I did not find it easy to be, well, they don't really do like friends. You like subscribe to different people or organizations. So here, hemp plastics, that's a huge thing that we should all be talking about. Hemp, pretty much every product. But yeah, so, it was kind of hard to find things. Going into the discovery, you find like all of these different people. So if you don't know what you're looking for, there's a lot that can draw your attention and keep you going through little loopholes or rabbit holes. That's the one I was looking for.
What's the thing up in the right corner that says 751?
That is their, what do you call it? So that's how many points
what's that all about?
What's that?
What's that all about?
So the points are, you get like a certain amount. I think it's 1,000 just for joining, and then hourly rewards is 50. And so you can use these points to boost one of your posts if you want. Which honestly, I boosted a post and it really didn't do much for me. Oops. And so, well, I don't know what I'll just. Oh, here we go. So you can also, I'm pretty sure you can pay with those points. I didn't do that yet, but yeah, you get points for using it. You get points for, maybe I got a point for somebody liking a post.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I could have used 3 weeks more on top of the 2 weeks that we've already put into this.
It's kind of weird how it has like a Pentagon building.
Yeah, so you can, where did that go? Let's go to Redacted tonight because I love them.
Yeah.
So you can wire
Long
money.
live Redacted.
Mm-hmm. You can wire money. They have, 22,000 points. I don't think they need to boost too many of their things. People that are looking for them will find them. Yeah, it was awesome in many ways, and I mean, but I'm an optimist, so of course I'm like, I want to see the goodness in here, and I want you guys, anyone, to take over the social media world. Of course, I'd love it to be connected, but anyone at this point.
It's gonna take a little while I think it's gonna take another year until the oh my God, fentanyl cut into cocaine. Whew. Thank God my cocaine days are over. That doesn't sound good. That'll be a real hangover.
I'm not even sure what fentanyl is.
Kids don't do fentanyl. It is the new crack. It's killing more people per day than anything. It's highly, highly addictive. Of course, it came from the pharmaceutical industry. And if you go look it up, you'll see way too many cases. Like everybody has boils on their skin. It's horrible. It's very sad. And the crazy thing is just the tiniest bit can kill you. Like it's like per capita, like 1,000,000 more times strong than like heroin and crack and stuff. So yeah, no bueno. That's why it's so important to legalize marijuana. Got to keep kids off of fentanyl.
If only the pharmaceutical companies could figure out a way to make sure that nobody else could get their hands on it and sell it or distribute in any way.
Well, no, I mean, we don't need to be making
all
these
new
chemicals.
Would be legal.
Right. We need to phase out the chemicals, people. They're really bad for us. Okay, anyway.
So here's this. Honestly, people are not posting on there very often. So
what do you mean? How do you know?
Well, Anti-Media does do a lot, which is one that I have followed. But I mean, they're not. It's just not something that's
not super active.
Yeah, I mean, Redacted Tonight, which is a huge thing, only did it yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yes, November 2nd was yesterday. But and there's only like 9 likes and like 3 comments and 2 shares. I shared one of those. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
But there's lots of great information regardless. And
you found it to be pretty equal voice as far as everyone, freedom of speech and whatnot.
Yes, definitely. They are not. They're not. They're not for
fascists posing as anti-fascists. They're not fascists posing as anti-fascists.
They are, as they said, nonpartisan. So
yeah.
Of course, I'm more looking at the left.
Well, I mean, I don't even care if somebody has a party. That's not the point. The point is the Constitution of the United States, which is where both parties should be agreeing, and that's the problem.
All parties.
Exactly. Yeah, because I'm not part of either party. I'm a radical. So anyway. Okay, so I tried out Gab, and this one was in beta a year ago and just kind of went more mainstream. I guess just August really was like the big launch where everybody could go. I'm having such a hard time figuring out this weird select your, okay, here we go.
Your screen?
Yeah, it doesn't do that with my other server. I just kind of go to my screen. Okay. So, Gab is interesting. I think it's had a few problems. I feel like it has a lot of potential. Um, one of the problems it had was, and this is something, you know, we all should be aware of, as you know, the free speech issue and social media and things. Um, but one of the issues is there was this guy who was quite controversial on the alt-right named Milo Yiannopoulos. And he caused like one of the well, that is so wrong. No, he didn't cause a Berkeley riot. People went and protested, chose to go protest him saying that he was a fascist and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, he's gay and he's from the UK and he has a black boyfriend, but I guess, you know, anybody who's conservative these days is just fascist. And I will admit, like, I've heard him talk a couple times and he's not my cup of tea at all. But last time I checked, you don't give attention to something and make it famous if you think it's garbage. So we really need to check ourselves on like the whole thing that what you hate, you also draw attention to just as if you loved it, you know? So we all need to really focus on what we love. So when that whole thing happened, all these people from that debacle with this dude, including Antifa members and all this and trolls, went over to this platform when it launched. So it's gotten a rocky start because of that. I would say the cool things about this platform are, well, look here. I mean, WikiLeaks is on the side tab. I mean, you know, anywhere where WikiLeaks is on the side tab, I would say is cool. So this is one of the coolest. The side tab changes depending on what people are posting about. So that's cool. It is an algorithm that just is very fair. There's no priority. It's just, and then since everybody's posting about that, then they make a tab and then you can go press on the tab and you can post about that and see what people are saying and whatnot. So that's cool. And because of this feature, I've found it really easy to make friends with people who are, you know, more open to talking about the issues instead of, you know, whatever. Like, for example, I posted this video of the Sane Progressive. Come on. Oh. Okay, so this is the little thing that gives you your alerts, and you can go down here and see who said what. But I posted this thing about the Sane Progressive. Oh, yeah, here she is. And she reposts it and says, "No progressive is sane. Progressivism requires psychosis." And I actually got into a little debate with her and kind of made her see that, you know, she's being just like the left that she supposedly hates by looking at a word and labeling and not watching the video and the content. Because if she watched the video and the content, she would see that the sane progressive is indeed a sane progressive. She's not, you know, the left Kool-Aid of we're going to get Bernie into office or whatever. So as if that would make a difference. So she's not hooked on that, you know. So that was interesting. It was cool to get in a debate with somebody that, you know, obviously didn't see eye to eye and get our humanity to see how what we're pointing fingers about, we're doing. And that's the problem. And that's where we need to put it all down because we're one people. And our Constitution really, I do believe, is where we should be uniting around and protecting, which is why it's so great that all these people are starting different channels. So Gab also has a TV section. They're not doing I guess they are doing live streaming, but you have to up your membership to have the capability to do that, which is also interesting. So they do have some things where if you pay, you pay to play, you get more features. They also have little reminders. It's not here now, unfortunately, but they usually have a little reminder that says they've actually made this month. It's not there right now. And every now and then it'll pop up and say, do you want to donate? I haven't donated yet. Maybe I will. We'll see. But I am excited to check out the Gab TV and just see if I can find some people I'm fans of. I've seen the owner of this platform who was from the techie industry in San Francisco, and he saw all of this happening, and he started Gab in direct response to this shutdown of freedom of speech, Facebook, and what's it called? What are the techie people in San Francisco? What's it called? Silicon Valley? Yeah, Silicon Valley. He was part of all of that and left that and got smeared the hell out of by Google. And he worked for Google and something else. But yeah, he basically gave up his life to start gab.ai. And it's .ai because it's not owned in the United States, which is why it cannot be monitored at all. And that's another thing that we all should consider, is that depending on what country your website is based in, you will have different laws that you have to abide by or not. And as you can buy, websites that are based in other countries. And that's ultimately what WikiLeaks did. He had a genius server that enabled the person uploading to upload to a country where whatever they were uploading would not be illegal. They would upload on that country's server. So BE would be Belgium. So let's say that server .be, because in Belgium this isn't illegal, or they wouldn't care about that. So it's interesting, because I never thought about websites as having nationalities. But yeah, so I would recommend Gab. I think it has a good story. I think that the team of people behind Gab is genuine. They've been around the block. They've seen the injustice, and they want to do a good job. And I'm excited to see where they go. And I'm definitely going to keep my account on there. So hope some of you will find me on there, Sherston on Gab.
Good to know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, did you find any of the information of the lawsuit that they're in as well?
That was about an app. That was about the app, and that was, no, I didn't look that up. It's BS. It's just BS where the, what's it called? iTunes is trying to block out Gab. That's all it's about. It's about the fact that Facebook doesn't want the competition of Gab, and Gab was about to make a app. So the owner says stand by. They're working on it. They don't have the app in the store right now. But no, I didn't look up all the details of that because it was just painfully obvious to me that that's what's going on, because it was a big iTunes,
Facebook
box out. Yeah, it was all set up to launch and everything was ready to go, and then, they pulled the plug. They were like, oh, wait, we don't want this.
Oh, all right. So I believe the last one, right? That was it for you, for the ones that you have?
Is
the ones
it?
that you researched?
Yeah, I think that's it. We got the last one. Drum roll.
I also did MeWe, which, yeah, I did like MeWe. I loved the reason, again, I loved all of their things that they started. I mean, I read that first quote in the beginning, and it's really all about, our privacy and our not being surveilled.
Don't surveil me, sir.
I do not want to be surveilled. It's all about the surveillance, and I believe I read some articles about the French police are telling the French not to be posting the photos about their children. I sent you some links to add to the live stream sources.
Yes, I'll be adding sources at the end of the video, you guys, with lots of video sources and articles from us about all these things.
Yeah, and I also found one, Belgium, which has had a lot of issues with Facebook. Belgium police were recommending that, what was it? That they don't use the emojis. That the emojis
Children?
are all part,
or
anyone, that nobody uses the emoji, like how to do all the different emojis, the like, the love, the wow, the crying, all of those emojis. I don't remember or if I even read the whole entire article, but I'm assuming it's part of like the psychological profiling that they're doing on all of us. So yeah, but there's lots out there on the privacy. I sent you a bunch of links on privacy.
Sweet.
Period. And then so
what's your number one concern in the privacy issue?
So we have we have this friends group, right? We have our friends, our connections, or whatever each site chooses to call those subscribers, and we think that we're sharing within this community of people, and then it's being tracked and it's being shared, whether it's with advertisements on with all these big corporations that I forget the quote, but it's like corporations are advertisements are actually asking for money, and it's like, what is more sad, seeing a homeless person on the streets asking for money, or a big corporation asking us for money? And so do they really need to be profiling us that much? And more importantly, do we need to be buying everything that they're trying to sell us? Because we can only control ourselves. So what are we consuming? How do we want to consume? How does our consumerism affect this world and each other, and how we think we're like going to feel better if we have this new thing and this, this new thing, and we need that to be happy. And anyway, I'm totally going on a rant here.
Well, that is what they're playing on, and that's why this information is more than just, having the information. It's got manipulative, they're using it to manipulate, essentially, to create need where there was no need, based on what they know we like and where we like to go and things. So,
and selling it to the government. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's he's planning on running for president? Oh my goodness.
What?
So,
I
haven't followed it a ton.
It's gonna give me a heart attack over here. I'm not even over inauguration. All right? Don't give me this kind of crap about the next freaking nightmare election.
Well, that is why it's important for us to unite as a people, as the 99%, because Mark Zuckerberg is not.
Because he's coming for us. The bot man is coming for us.
Okay, so on to this whole other rant. Where was I going here?
MeWe.
And you asked me the question, and it's like we're thinking that we have this community of people to share our ideas and opinions with, where we're not going to be, like, we're human beings. We change our minds. One post does not represent who we are. And so, sharing one thing about somebody is not justifiable to that person. And it's also, it comes back to the whole thing about like how I'm losing my train of thought for a second. How we're doing the same things to each other, like how, what was your example?
What we're pointing the finger at, we are actually doing. Yeah. So we're pointing the finger, but as soon as we point the finger, we're doing what we're pointing the finger for. It's like the Antifa thing. It's like, no, what we need to do is stop pointing fingers and like unite, like you said earlier, around the issues, around the principles of, our rights and the Constitution, and the fact that these rights are being taken away faster
and also seeing our humanity in each other. Like we can learn so much. We don't have to agree with everyone. We don't have to make somebody believe what we're believing, but we can see their point of view, and we can see how they believe in that and how it does something for them. And that is what makes it perfectly fine, as long as, of course, they're not harming anyone.
Yeah.
And, well, anyway, I'm not going to go on that tangent.
So MeWe is into this, I take it?
So MeWe is also into this. Whoops, where are we?
Whoops, that's right.
Okay. So MeWe, interestingly enough, MeWe, something I wanted to share. Because I was actually finding more relevance in doing chats and talking to people and finding out, actual people's opinions and thoughts and stuff like that. And MeWe, when I'd go into the chats, they'd be like, "Oh, what'd you get banned for?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, banned from Facebook?" And they're like, "Yeah, well, why else would anyone else come over here?" And I was like, "That's fascinating." And that is part of this issue of us not taking action as a whole. Like, Facebook is banning, Facebook is, surveilling, it's doing all of these things, and yet we're still on it.
And we're still on it, yeah.
I am too. I'm totally guilty of it. Me too,
and I'm trying to get off there, but I feel like I'm trying to take people with me, and I don't want to leave. Come on.
And I mean, and it's, how do I turn these off? So where was I? But at the same time, people are using Facebook for their businesses, and we are not being seen.
Yeah, and you spend all those years building all those followers. And even me, I look at the Shakti page, and I'm like, I can't even feel proud of the over 6,000 people that we've gotten to follow. It's not that I'm not proud, but it's that it's like they're lost. They never see the posts. They never see the content.
Yeah, you're proud, but you're not being able to have the communication and the conversations around the important topics that you're wanting to share and bring about those.
Yeah.
So that's where it's all.
And is MeWe, how do you feel about it as a platform other than, people being over there, kicked off of Facebook? What do you think about it potentially? I mean, it started kind of from people getting kicked off during Standing Rock specifically, right?
I mean, that's why I joined, was during the Standing Rock, they said to use this. I don't remember if it's MeWe that... No, I think Minds has a more private chat than WhatsApp. One of them has better chats, or more private than WhatsApp. I think I sent you that link as well.
Well, Zuckerberg just bought WhatsApp.
Right.
Right. So it's not private.
No. But yeah, so at first MeWe was hard to really figure out, and then I just kept joining these groups, and that's where I started finding people and talking and, really starting to interact. So that was, you can find them here.
And the groups just pop up, or you just search words?
How did I find them? So I think, okay, so here, where's the Explorer? Oh, over here. So MeWe favorites. They have tons of different options here. So you can search all these different groups. I don't know why it's not letting me scroll, but it's not. They do have a really great option for trolls.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're removed permanently. People are the ones that are turning them in.
Ah.
So
that's great. I don't know if I know about any other platform that's removing trolls. Do you?
I mean, Connectivid will be. It's
Facebook definitely doesn't.
What's that?
Facebook doesn't.
No, you just get banned
I
for
think
certain periods of time.
no. But the trolls are bots. It depends on what kind of trolls you're talking about. But there's trolls that are just bots. You know, they're just programs that go around or people getting paid to go around and be like, my friend was a progressive antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Getting paid to like basically leave messages on people like me Facebook wall when I make, some kind of outlandish, when I put some kind of crazy truth on the wall, and they get all upset. And then they go and they say all these crazy things and, try to get you all upset and stuff. But doesn't work anymore. They did get me a couple times, I have to say. But the point is that we have a couple different kinds of trolls, and that might be a good thing for you and me to do our next video on. Is like, what kinds of trolls are out there? What's the difference between the bot and the people getting paid? And how do we identify them? And how do you identify a troll per se?
Well, on Connectivid, let me see if I take out my going. I don't know if you heard that. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, what'd you say?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I started echoing in my earphones, so. So on Connectivid, we have like where it has to be 3 different people will report that person, so that it's not just, like trolls can come in and they can also report, like you were saying, if it's just somebody that has a different opinion. Mm-hmm. So 3 different people have to report them, and then they'll be flagged. And, we're small right now, so in the beginnings, we can, we'll be figuring out the best ways to find trolls on either side, and be able to.
So let's talk about Connectivid and how it fits into this puzzle as far as what options it has. Was there anything else you wanted to say about MeWe? I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay. There's some funny noise. Do you hear it?
No.
It's like static.
I'm getting you okay.
Okay. Well, I'll just try to ignore it and keep talking.
You can also take that. Well, yeah. No, you need to hear me. Never mind. I was like, just use the microphone. Don't worry about the earpiece. So, yeah. I didn't mean to rush you on MeWe. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with MeWe?
I like MeWe. I think Gab looks like it has a little bit more of a promising interface.
What about between MeWe and Minds? And what about the people on those 2 platforms?
MeWe's people seemed really nice, really helpful. They're, I sat in the chats and they all responded to me. Or not all, but, people did respond to me. And it was interesting because they do have where you can go into like the groups that you follow. You can chat with those groups as well as being able to chat with personal. Oh, I think it was Minds that had the super double encrypted. Minds or MeWe. There's a lot to.
Yeah, I think it is Minds actually that is double encrypted.
Mm-hmm. And you can get a professional one where there's no way that, I think it's 99 cents a month, and that's the one that's better than WhatsApp, which of course, as we said, is owned by Facebook now. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, one thing I want to say before we move into Connectivid, it's like, we need to not be having these monopolizations. And that's really what it's coming down to. I mean, like, Google owning YouTube and Facebook owning Instagram. And it's like, there's just, all these other countries in the world have better Wi-Fi reception, and many, many more have public than we do.
Yeah.
And where else was I going with this? and it's cheaper than us as well.
Oh yeah.
It's like here, we're monopolized by the phone systems that also are part of the Wi-Fi network, and the Google and the Facebook peoples, and the Jeff.
And the kicker is they're making money off of Tesla's technology. As if that poor dead man didn't give enough away for free and get screwed over by the establishment enough times. Now, RMF waves, thanks to Tesla, are what is connecting the world. And once again, they're making money off of something they never even invented. They stole the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot. And we really need, to hashtag vote with your dollar.
Yes, it is so true. I mean,
vote with your thoughts. Vote with your everything that is more personal as well as not corporate.
Yeah, and vote with your effort, I mean, we all get lazy sometimes, or we're out and we get a craving and it just takes over and we're like, F it, I'm going for it, but if you make an effort most of the time, then that one little time, it's like, whatever, let that go, but if we can just make an effort all the time to try to remember our to-go boxes if we're going out to a restaurant to eat, so we can, I have to-go boxes, sometimes I forget, I try to remember. I bring my cup so I can, get something yummy to drink while I'm out and I don't have to get a disposable cup. And I'm not saying everybody should do these things, but if everybody makes an effort and shares how they make an effort and inspires other people to make an effort, we're going to be, taking a lot more of that power back into our hands. And of course, when we're talking about voting with our dollar, we're talking about local, sustainable, organic farmers market, trading with and bartering with your community. So yeah, I'm 100% on that page with you.
And it can be cheap. It doesn't have to be super expensive by going through Whole Foods, which is a whole other story, being owned by Amazon. And
yeah. Speaking of corporate buyouts left and right.
Not to mention their the jails being
the prison labor. Yes.
Prison. Thank you.
Yes. If you guys weren't aware, one of our dear Hillary Rodham Clinton's contributions was she was from Tennessee, as some of you know, back in the day, and I believe it was Tennessee. Anyway, she rallied for prison labor there, and now when you go to Whole Foods, all the clothing in the Whole Foods that says "Made in the USA" is all prison labor clothing. And I just saw a prison labor video the other day that now, like basically what they do is they tell the prisoners they're going to have some crazy long sentence. And then they say, but if you do this, you can get paid like $1 a day, which they're probably, that's nothing. Like they don't make any money because you get charged to be in jail. Jails are private. They're not social structures, except for state penitentiaries or federal prison. But even those, I think some have been bought off privately too. Anyway, so people profit off of more people being in the jail. So they give them these shorter term packages cut off 5 to 10 years. And, they go and work and make clothing for Whole Foods and other places like that are huge corporate conglomerates that really want the benefit of having the little Made in USA sticker instead of Made in China with sweatshop slave labor. And now it's Made in USA with prison labor. So yeah, just a little 411, and all the more reason to go to your local grocery store.
Mm-hmm. And the gardens, the farmers in your local area. Get CSA boxes. Those are reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't have access to those, especially in the winter, depending on where you live. But if you live anywhere near any kind of rural farming, look into it for the spring. Get started. Like, have it on your plan that you're gonna get a community shared agriculture box. That's CSA. And you go each week and you pick up the box. It's really fun to do with a friend and split the veggies. You pay like, whatever a month, $30, $40, $50 a month, and you pick up veggies each week. So super cool, and you get to know your farmer, which is also fun. It's like a field trip.
Yes. Okay, and we are...
Well, let's talk about
but we'll
Connectivid. And I just want to talk really quickly. I just want to say, if you haven't already, please go over to connectivid.com, set up your free profile, and friend Christina Laskar and Sherston. I think I put my last name on there, Senior, or Sherston Carey, my middle name. And we are in the process. I'm assisting Christina. I'm so happy to be on the Connectivid startup team, or restart team, really. We're relaunching the website and with all this other functionality. And so that's one reason why we've been wanting to take a tour, see what's working, see what's not working. So we'd love it if some of you would go try these platforms and maybe even put comments in this video later saying what you thought, if you agreed, disagreed, what's working, or different platforms. But Connectivid is going to plant a tree for everyone who goes and sets up their profile. So please share that on your social media channels. Let them know that we are going to be a free speech platform. And then I want Christina to just take it away and tell you about the functionality we'll have and when the launch is expected at this point.
Yes. Super excited for all of this and for having your help and for having fun all the time with you and brainstorming and being our crazy Gemini selves. So functionality, we are going to roll out pretty much the website that is already there, but with the better social networking platform or functionality that will be on the new platform, or the what's the word I'm looking for? The revised. And the organizations, because like I said, we have vetted nonprofits that I've already vetted. We want to make sure that as supporters, because we have a lot of change that we want to see happen in this world. We have a lot of change that people are already doing. And when you're looking at nonprofits, it can be really challenging and really frustrating because there's so much research that needs to be done to see if they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing. Like Red Cross, I'm going to call them out right here. Red Cross only uses 3 cents of your dollar that you donate to them to actually put towards the cause. So your 97 cents is going towards administration. I don't know if that's okay with you, but for nonprofit world, for giving away my money, I know I don't want to do that. I want to see the people that I want to see helped getting the help that they need. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, so that's why we have vetted nonprofits. That was actually one of the many reasons that I decided to start this organization.
So just to make it super clear for people, like if you could make a cocktail that was Connectivid, what social media / fundraising, crowdsourcing, what sites would it be? Plus this, plus that, with a little of this and a little of that. Just so people can kind of get an idea in their head.
So ones that we know is definitely Facebook. I want the social media aspect, which is, really about community. Why I think most of us joined Facebook is for the community aspect, for the connection, for sharing and listening to our friends' and families' viewpoints and, staying in connection. And Kickstarter, Kickstarter for the crowdfunding aspect, because we all need help. All the organizations that I talk to, it's like, their one big thing is they need help with their financials. And some of them have sounded so down and out, and they just, So it's not like Kickstarter in the fact that the nonprofits will be offering you something other than what's happening with the money that you have spent with them. Like they'll be giving you updates, they'll be sharing with you where that money is going, how it's being used, stories from the families, and or whatever people are, being helped by that. So awesome. That is our reward, which is really what we want to know. We don't want a bag or a coffee cup or, what have you.
Very cool. And What would you say is the most unique thing? Obviously, the crowdfunding, crowdsourcing is really unique. What would you say is also maybe another unique feature about Connectivid as opposed to other platforms?
We will have double encrypted messaging because privacy is huge. I have no desire to surveil anyone. Like we want our privacy. We want our, our capabilities of using our internet, which is how it originally started as an hour. And
worldwide.
Yes, using our internet for connecting and making this world a better place. And so that is what is important to us, not what people's psychological profiles or where, we're not going to have advertisements besides from the nonprofits that have already been vetted. And they're not really advertisements. It's just, you can go and choose categories that are important to you, and then they will show up in your feed. And
nice.
By any means, you can unfollow those categories. You can follow certain people. You can follow certain organizations. You can make friends. You can message.
Nice. And what if somebody has an organization and they want to start a cause on Connectivid? What does that look like, and who's welcome to start causes and try to get vetted?
So nonprofits are definitely welcome. We are working on how to, and so when a nonprofit organization gets vetted, they will be vetted as the organization so they can start multiple causes. If an individual is wanting to start a cause, we can, approve that certain cause as opposed to approving that person. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we also will have a news resource room.
So in other words, an average person could start a cause and submit a cause and not necessarily be an organization.
Right, but they will have to be approved, and they won't be approved forever. They'll just have
just for that cause. Yeah. That's interesting. That's very cool. Yeah.
And, if they're not going to show and share what happened with the money that they raised, then, of course, they will not be approved for future causes.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for us as the supporters to know that we can feel safe.
Accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds awesome. I'm so excited.
There's lots more too.
Yeah, and we need to take everyone on a tour of the new site. I think we're still waiting for some more, final drafts of certain parts of the website and everything, but we will definitely set up a Connectivid tour for the new website before it even launches so you guys can get a look at how beautiful it is. It really is gorgeous, and just some of the things we're centering everything around are just so beautiful. We're really centering things around making people feel good about helping the planet, and I think in our culture that's such an interesting thing that just a lot of us have been kind of smeared for caring about the planet, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And one more thing I wanted to say just on these wonderful notes that we're talking about. You just said something that I think is really important. You said it's going to be double encrypted because privacy is so important to you. And, I've just kind of clicked this thing in my mind where I'm honestly not sure that freedom of speech even exists without privacy. Like, I don't think it does, because in order to know what we want to say with our freedom of speech, we have to have the ability to think about it, conjure it, digest it, think it, say it, all this stuff
with other people.
And we may not ever intend for that to be told to other people. By the time it gets to other people, it may be a completely different form, So it's also like if we don't have privacy, we almost don't have the freedom of speech. And as I was looking on this this Patreon, I think, account, one of the people on there that was actually doing really well and making money with Patreon, he does music and has a band. And he said something that is profound that actually relates to this. He said that this platform allows me to produce my art without the overhead cost. In other words, he can produce music, he can make shit if he wants to for free. And he said that is the key most important part to getting to the good stuff, the hits, the gold. And I think it's the same thing in our society with getting to truth and getting to solutions and getting to answers. It's the same thing. If we don't have the freedom of speech to say stuff that makes no sense, we're not actually going to be able to get to the gold nuggets. And if we can't have the privacy to have thoughts and like artistic creations that the rest of the world might not know how to take, we're not going to be able to get whatever art it is that we do want to share with the world out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and a lot comes to acceptance. We have so much that we need to figure out on a systematic level as well as an individual level. And I think that's really where change happens, is with both of those, kind of uniting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And that's why social media has been such a tool that has helped us in this very endeavor, because it has connected us. It's allowed people with different opinions to all come together into this melting pot and hash over and share articles and share, conflicting ideas and be like, whoa, where'd you hear that? And, so it's like, this must continue. Anyway, I really appreciate your time. I'm sorry that we went over, but I feel like we covered some really good stuff. I hope you do too. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please do leave comments. We'll be checking back in later and I will reply to them. I know I said I would at the end of this, but since we've run over, I feel like I'll do that a little later. And stay tuned, because we will be back on with Christina and have you back here giving us a tour of Connectivid soon. So
and I want to say thank you to you, Sherston, for everything that you're doing with the Shakti Journal and the Shakti Report and all of the amazing resources and information that you spread and share everywhere. So keep rocking it, sister.
Thank you. You too. And go friend us on Connectivid right now and have an awesome night. Talk to you soon.